Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the Popsicle Night channel. This video is sponsored by PTCGO the best place for you to get Pokemon TCG code cards. Are you looking to complete your card collection online for the latest set? PTCGO has everything you need. And please remember to use my code NIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Please enjoy the discount and your purchase directly supports the content I create in this channel. Thank you guys so much for your support and for your supporting PTCGO. In today's video, we'll be showcasing Raichu from the Lost Origin expansion set. And this actually gives me a chance to play this adorable Pikachu in a deck. Now, Raichu actually has a pretty fun mechanic, where if you've used up your VSTAR Power for the game, it has an attack that can deal 220 damage. So let's take a look. Raichu is a stage 1 Pokemon with 120 HP, 1 retreat cost, no resistance, and is weak to fighting. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Thunder Shock. For 1 lightning energy, it deals 30 damage. After which you flip a coin, and if it's heads, your opponent's active is now paralyzed. This attack is actually good for stalling if you manage to flip heads, and of course that extra chip damage really helps. And its second attack, a Spark, is what makes Raichu unique. For 1 lightning and 2 colorless energy, it deals 100 plus damage. But if you've used up your VSTAR Power during the game, this attack deals 220 damage instead, which is pretty strong for a single prizer. I could have used the Zoroark line for this build, but like I said, I really wanted to use this adorable Pikachu, which by the way has the neat ability Pika Dash, whereby if it has an energy attached to it, it basically has 0 retreat cost. But going back to Raichu's A-Spark attack, obviously you have to have a V-Star Pokemon in your build to increase this attack. This time I think the easiest V-Star to pair it with is none other than Arceus V-Star. Its V-Star Power ability is just so easy to use and is so powerful. Star Birth allows you to just grab any 2 cards from your deck. It's that simple. And of course this can help tremendously with your early setup. And not only that, it also has a strong attack. For 3 colorless energy, it deals 200 damage. And you can also accelerate up to 3 basic energy from your deck to your V Pokemon any way you like. So with your V-Star Power used up, any of your Raichu's A-Spark attack can now hit for 220 damage. The attack cost is a bit high, so I've included 4 copies of Double Turbo Energy. This acts as 2 colorless energy, however it does reduce your attack by 20 damage. I went with this instead of the Twin Energy because this can also help accelerate Arceus V-Star's attack more easily. I've also added Flaffy with the Dynamotor ability to help accelerate 1 basic lightning energy from the discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. This will help a lot when transitioning between your attackers. Raichu's A-Spark attack damage can also be increased with the help of the Choice Belt, adding 30 more damage against a V Pokemon. This attack however does cap off at 250 damage, not quite enough to knock out even a V-Star Pokemon, and this is why I've included 1 copy of this Raichu. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Big Sparking. For 1 lightning energy, you deal 50 damage to all Pokemon V or GX in play, including yours. So if you manage to deal 250 damage to a V-Star Pokemon, this Raichu will be able to finish it off with a single snipe. Its second attack is also pretty good. Thunderbolt. For 2 lightning and 1 colorless energy, it deals 180 damage, but then you have to discard all energy from it. As for the other cards worth noting, Snorlax and Radiant Venusaur will help you draw extra cards, and Manaphy to block attack damage done to your bench. Avery is great for disrupting your opponent's bench. Raihan is good too, especially after one of your Pokemon gets knocked out during your opponent's turn. You can accelerate a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and then get 1 extra card from your deck. I also have Air Balloon to reduce retreat cost by 2. This will help keep your Flaffies on your bench. Training Court Stadium to help you recover 1 basic energy from your discard pile back to your hand. And finally, 2 copies of Speed Energy. If you attach this to one of your Lightning type Pokemon, you can also draw 2 extra cards. This deck build is actually pretty straightforward. All you have to do is use your V-Star Power for the game, and then start hitting hard with your Raichu. And that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Raichu. Alright, let's get right into our showcase. So in this matchup, my opponent's going first, and we're going to start this one with a Snorlax in the active spot. We also have Pikachu, which is great. Now we have our main attacker set up, at least 1, and we are going up against a Charizard V-Star matchup. And my opponent's going to mulligan 3 times, so that gives us 3 extra cards, and they're going to start with an Entei V in the active spot and a Charmander on their bench. So their Entei V of course has an ability that allows them to draw 1 extra card while it's in the active spot once per turn. So the main thing with this build that I have is really to set up your Arceus V-Star right away. So we have a Quick Ball, Might as well discard one Lightning Energy, and that's going to set up for our Flaffy line. We're just going to get our Arceus V and then attach Speed Lightning Energy to our Pikachu, allowing us to draw 2 extra cards. I don't want to discard my entire hand, so I think I'm just going to go for Avery for now. That's going to help us to draw 3 extra cards. And we got 2 basic Pokemon from that. So we have our Mareep for our Flaffy line. I'm just going to attach the Air Balloon because it has 2 retreat costs and it's really hard to retreat it. And since we have Ultra Ball available, I might as well just use it up, and then I can use Gourmandize, and then we can draw 3 extra cards. So I think I'll just discard an Energy and the Scoop Up Net, and I think I'm gonna go for... I'm gonna get another Pikachu because I can evolve 2 already, and then setting up another one I think would be good. And I'm just gonna Gourmandize to end my turn, and we got Radiant Venusaur and also Ultra Ball and a double Turbo Energy from that. Alright, so my opponent's Entei V is now ready to attack, and with the full bench it is dealing enough damage to knock out our Snorlax. So Entei V has an attack that depends its power based on how many benched Pokemon are on both players' bench. How many Pokemon are on both players' bench. And so they're setting up their Charizard V, and they also have Ninetales V on their bench, which can copy attacks, by the way, which is a pretty cool concept because they have Magma Basin to help it energize, and they also have Charizard with a Burn Brightly ability, and that makes sense now because Burn Brightly is an ability that basically makes all fire energies attached to their Pokemon count as 2 instead of 1. So really, their Pokemon only need a few energies for them to use their attack that requires a lot of energy. So my opponent's gonna take a knockout on our Snorlax, and I'm just gonna pivot into Mareep because we can just retreat with it. And I'm just gonna use Ultra Ball, get my Arceus V-Star, and now we can use our Starbirth ability. That's gonna help us grab 2 cards from our deck, and I'm really thinking of just getting this Raichu so that we can evolve our other Pikachu. But their Entei V has 230. We're hitting for 220. Not quite enough to knock it out, so I think I'm gonna go for Raihan, and instead of Raichu, I'll just go for the Choice Belt. At least we can get a knockout this turn with our Raichu. So I'm just gonna accelerate 1 energy to our Pikachu, and I think I'll just grab this Raichu now. So we have 3 Pikachus that we can evolve into a Raichu. So we can snipe for 50 damage to all of their Pokemon V, or all Pokemon V in play. And now we can also attack with Raichu. And with the help of the Choice Belt, we will be dealing 250 damage. So a Spark, here we go. There it is. There's a knockout against their Entei V. Not too shabby, guys. Raichu is actually a pretty strong attacker. 220 base damage after using up your V-Star attack or ability. It's actually a pretty good attack. And with the Choice Belt, 250 is pretty good. And even if you can just damage 250 to a bunch of V-Star Pokemon and then your opponent retreats them, Raichu can just spread damage and finish off all of those V-Star Pokemon. So my opponent has evolved into their Charizard V-Star, and again with their Charizard with the Burn Brightly, they don't require a lot of energies to attack with it, so it's our Raichu's not gonna survive an attack here. And they're also using Delphox V. Okay, so that's a new card from the Lost Origin expansion set, which can hit the active for 120 and also the bench for 120. So now I actually need that mana fee to protect our bench, but we do have a boss in our hands, so I could actually target it. And we also have Flaffy, so we might have a chance to actually energize one of our Raichu because the Magma Basin already dealt 20 damage to their Delphox, so it's going to be easier for us to actually knock it out. And so we don't have to worry about them hitting our bench. So now that we have Flaffy available, let's just Dynamotor 1 Lightning Energy to our Raichu. And then with the double Turbo Energy, we're going to be dealing 200 damage. And that's enough to knock out this Delphox V. So we're just going to retreat with our Flaffy. And we have 1 energy. I'm just going to leave it. And I'm just going to use A Spark here. Dealing 200 damage. Knocking out their Delphox V. Getting us 2 more prizes for our knockout. So we got another Pikachu and also Avery. That's going to help us to disrupt their bench. In case they put any more attackers or set up any more Pokemon on their bench. So we are looking good, I think. We don't have any more Raichu that can use A Spark at this moment. We do have Raichu, which can use its attack for 180 damage, which is really good. So let's see if we can utilize that. We only need 2 more prizes anyways. Maybe we can knock out their Ninetales, which is a lot weaker than their Charizard V-Star, which as of right now has 260 HP. So even with a Choice Belt, Raichu will not even be able to knock it out. So let's see what we could do here. I'm thinking probably to just use Raichu and just spread 50 damage to all V Pokemon in play, and that's gonna weaken at least their Ninetales or even Charizard V-Star, and we can just get a knockout after that. And we can even use our Arceus V-Star to attack if we need to. So we have a few options to attack. At least we are still on the green in that respect. So they're gonna knock out our Raichu, and they're gonna get another prize for that. So as always, we're gonna pivot into our Flaffy. We can set up another Pikachu, and what I'm gonna do is just accelerate an energy to this Raichu. Well, and I'm just gonna spread 50 damage to all of the Pokemon in play, and then we're just chipping away at everybody's HP so that we can get a final blow with our other Raichu. So I'm gonna use Ordinary Rod and recover a line of this Raichu, and then I'm gonna use Professor's Research because we only need 2 more prizes. I think we are still good with our prize exchange. So let's retreat into this Raichu. We got a boss's order from our Professor's Research also, so that might just secure us our win. So put another air balloon on our other Mareep, and yeah, we're just gonna use Big Sparking, deal 50 damage to all Pokemon, including our Arceus V-Star. That could be bad because their Charizard V-Star could knock it out also, but they will need one of their V Pokemon to attack for a lot of damage to do that, and we might have just secured our win. Although our hand is really terrible because we need Raichu, the other Raichu with the A Spark attack to deal 200 damage, and maybe a double Turbo Energy so that we can accelerate to our Arceus V-Star if that becomes our attacker. So let's see what my opponent does here. And okay, they're gonna boss order my Pikachu. Okay, that's actually pretty good, because now we won't have an attacker. You're gonna deal 230 damage, knocking out my Pikachu. Let's just pivot into Flappy and see what happens. Okay, we have Hisuian Heavy Ball, and I think I'm just gonna Dynamotor to Raichu. I mean, we can attack for 180. They still need 2 more prizes. I don't know if they can. If they can boss my Arceus V-Star, we're gonna lose this game. I could also scoop up Flappy and then have it accelerate another energy. but 180 is not quite enough to knock out their Charizard V-Star, so not sure exactly what's the right thing to do, but for now I'm just gonna Marnie. Maybe that's gonna disrupt their hand. Oh, we got a Choice Belt. Dude, Choice Belt is actually really good. Charizard V-Star has 70 damage, 210. I think that fixes the math, guys. There it is. We're gonna take this win. All right, there's the scoop. Wow, close one. Good game. All right, let's get into another match. I like going first with this build just because we can't use our VSTAR Power ability until our second turn anyway, so it's fine. And I'm just gonna attach a double turbo energy to our Arceus V, and Gorman dies. Okay, we got a Pikachu. It's gonna help us set up for our Raichu on the bench, and we also have Avery to draw 3 extra cards in the next turn. And my opponent's gonna start with Galarian Moltres V in the active spot. So this is pretty scary. It has an ability that allows it to accelerate a basic dark energy from the discard pile onto it. Although since it's in the active spot, there's no other way they can accelerate an extra energy onto it. So if anything, they can only attach 2 energies onto their active spot or active Pokemon. And wow, so this is actually a Darkrai V-Star matchup. And of course, Moltres accelerates extra energy, so more energy attached, the more powerful Darkrai V-Star's attack will be. So at least we have Avery to disrupt their hand. We have one more to do that. Hopefully we can disrupt them from charging up their Pokemon from a lot of energies. Not much we could do during our turn though. All we could do is attach an energy to our Pikachu. At least we can evolve it. But what we need is to evolve our Arceus V-Star so that we can use our V-Star Power ability. And we actually might be able to get a knockout off of the Moltres as well. So even if they attack with Moltres, it's gonna deal damage to itself. Then we can get a 2 prize for a knockout from that. And just as long as my opponent cannot build up their energies in play, we should be fine, because Darkrai has a potential to one-hit knockout any Pokemon in the game. But they have to stack up a lot of energies attached to all of their Pokemon, which as of right now, they don't have a lot. So my opponent's actually having a hard time setting up here, in my opinion. So, I mean, they have Radiant Greninja to help them discard a card, draw 2 extra cards, and then the idea is to use the Dark Patch so that they can accelerate an energy from the discard pile to one of their Dark Pokemon in their bench. And Darkrai V-Star has an ability that allows them to grab any 2 item cards from the discard pile back to their hand, so they can get those Dark Patches back to their hand and reuse them and accelerate more energies onto their Pokemon. So that's the main strategy. I think for any game, that's really what you want to do, is to assess what your opponent's strengths and weaknesses are and have a good understanding of what their deck does, or what their main strategy is for that particular build. And I think every deck is good. It's just a matter of knowing how to counter any deck build that can make your deck weaker or your strengths. So with Avery, again, that forces my opponent to discard their benched Pokemon. And that does help a little bit, you know. So we're just going to evolve into Raichu. Now we can grab our Arceus V-Star with this Ultra Ball, finally. And then we can use its Starbirth ability. And then I'm just gonna grab more basic Pokemon because that's what we need. We need a lineup of attackers as of right now. And then we can actually scoop up our Snorlax. We're not knocking out their Darkrai V-Star, but it will be dealing a lot of damage. So if we use a Spark, we can deal 230 damage with the Choice Belt. And that's pretty significant, I think. So I'm just going to use a Spark here, deal 230 damage to their Darkrai V-Star. So with our Arceus, with an initial energy on our Arceus V-Star, double turbo energy, we can even get a knockout off of their Darkrai, and that will discard 2 energies. And again, the more we prevent our opponent from stacking energies in play, the weaker their attack or their Darkrai V-Star's attack will be. So knocking one out is pretty helpful too. Makes their Pokemon weaker. And they're just going to get a knockout off of our Raichu. Alright, so now we can finish off their Darkrai V-Star with our Arceus. And at least we have our Flaffy line. We have one Flaffy line available to us. And I think I'm going to grab Radiant Venusaur. And that's going to help us to draw into extra cards. And I can even use this Ordinary Rod. And I think I'm going to do both. I'm just going to get a full lineup of Raichu and just 1 energy. We're going to preserve 1. And we're going to Dynamotor 1 energy to our Pikachu for the meantime. And I'm just going to use Trinity Nova to deal 180 damage. And I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to accelerate any more energies to Arceus V-Star, but that does get us to 2 prizes. And thanks to our Venusaur, we also draw into a Marnie, which is really good. So setting up another Arceus V-Star is really dependent on your matchup. It's not ideal because you are putting some type of liability because you're going to be losing 2 prizes if your opponent knocks one out. So what you want to do is just set up your single prize Pokemon lineup, your Raichus, so that you can continue to attack. And just use Arceus V-Star sparingly if you can. But Arceus V-Star is also good for tanking hits because it has more HP than any of your Raichu lineup. So they're going to attack for 210 damage. And we have Raichu in our hand, which is really good. So we can evolve 1. We can attack for 200 damage here. And we're just going to hard retreat our Arceus V-Star. And let me scoop up. That way we can draw 2 extra cards. And I'm just going to use a Spark. So 200 damage, not too bad. Draw 2 extra cards with our Venusaur. And even if they retreat here, we have Boss's Order. We can finish it off with our Arceus V-Star. So we need another lineup of attacker here. That way we can secure a knockout. And it's good that my opponent is using a lot of V Pokemon, because all we really need to do is knock out 3 Pokemon so that we can get 6 prizes. But they're going to pivot into a new Darkrai V-Star with a full HP. So it's going to be a lot harder for us to knock one out for this turn. But at least we have Boss's Order. We can secure a knockout. And we're still pretty even in terms of our prize exchange. And we have Choice Belt. And I might just have to preserve that one to increase our attack later on. And we don't have any more double turbo energy, so for the meantime, I'm just going to use Ordinary Rod and recycle back another line of Raichu. And I wish I had another Pikachu to set up, but we don't. So, I mean, I can hit their active, but then they can also start attacking with their Moltres. So either way, they have a lineup of attackers as well. So this makes it a little bit complicated. But securing a knockout to that Darkrai V-Star, I think, is the most optimal move here. That way, we're still making our price exchange even. So I'm just gonna attack and knock out their Darkrai V-Star. That gets us 2 prizes. Hopefully, we get something here. All right, a quick ball is really good because now we can set up another Raichu line. And to think about it, I think we're still ahead in this game because they get 2 prizes off of Arceus B-Star, but all we will lose in the next 2 turns are just 1 prize. Because if we can set up Raichu, they're only getting 1 prize at a time, each time they knock one out. So let's see if we can pull this off. We're gonna discard Mareep so we can get a Pikachu. And then see, let's use their training court, get an energy, and then I'm gonna use Ultra Ball to get rid of Raichu. We have 1 more Raichu in the deck. Let me get another Pikachu just in case. And then I'm just gonna Dynamotor 1 energy to 1. And I think I'm just gonna Gormandize. Yeah, not much to work with here. I can't evolve yet, and I cannot switch out my Snorlax. So at least that helped us to draw into extra cards. For setup, we have another Choice Belt available to us. Oh, but they're gonna Marnie. Okay. So hopefully we draw into good cards. Okay, we got our own Marnie. We got another Pikachu. But we're still in a we're still in a very tough spot here. Okay, we got a Raihan from the top deck, which is really good. But you know what? This is probably we're gonna lose this one because there's no other way we can knock out their Darkrai V-Star. Let's just grab this Raichu, accelerate an energy, and I'm just gonna go for Thunder Shock. Hopefully, yo. Let's go. All right, so we paralyzed their Darkrai V-Star. If they can't get out of this, we should be okay, at least for another turn. And because they already used up their V-Star Power attack or V-Star Power ability, they won't be able to get a switch or anything from the discard pile to get their Darkrai V-Star out of the active spot. Unless they have one in their hand. They're just gonna boss my Radiant Venusaur. And they just passed, dude. Let's go. So we survive another turn. Their Darkrai V-Star has 240 HP. And yo, let's go. Dude, that Thunder Shock secured our win. So we're just gonna Ace Spark with the help of the Choice Belt. Knocks out their Darkrai V-Star for the win. Bro, that was a pretty clutch comeback. Good game. Alright, let's get into another match. This time, my opponent's going first. And yeah, let's just put Mareep in the active spot. We have Scoop Up Net. We can just scoop it out. And we have Arceus V to start, which is really good too. That way we can use our V-Star Power ability right away. And that's going to increase our Raichu's attack damage output. So we're going up against a Water-type build. My opponent has their Suicune V in the active spot. They cannot attack on their first turn as of yet. And they also have Starmie V on their bench. Let me scoop up my Mareep, put my Arceus V in the active spot, and I'm just gonna Marnie. As long as we can limit our bench size, we should be able to survive an attack here from their Suicune V. And I just accelerated 2 lightning energies onto my Arceus V because that's gonna secure an attack at least. And we also have Arceus V-Star available in our hand, and we can evolve into a Flappy. So this is actually a great start for us. And having that extra energy on Arceus V, even if we hard retreat, we can discard those energies and then can accelerate those energies using Flappy. But this is a good matchup for us too, since a lot of their Pokemon so far are weak to lightning. So Suicune V is weak to lightning, and then they also have Radiant Greninja, it's also weak to lightning, and also Starmie V is also weak to lightning. So we are looking good. This matchup is in our favor for sure, which means we don't need a lot of damage output to get an easy knockout against their V Pokemon. So they attack with their Suicune V, dealing 140 damage, but you know what? That's actually enough to knock out our Arceus V-Star for one more hit. But since Suicune V has 210 HP, we actually might get a knockout with our Arceus V-Star. Let me use my professor's research, and with the help of a choice belt, we should be able to knock out this Suicune V. Let me get rid of Mareep so that we can set up our Pikachu. Use our Radiant Venusaur, set up another Pikachu. And you know what? Let me get Manaphy because we are in danger of being knocked out by their Radiant Greninja. So I'm going to use Starbirth ability. Again, that sets up for increasing the damage output for our Raichu. And we're just going to knock out this Suicune V, dealing exactly 210 damage for a knockout. That gets us our first 2 prizes. We get a Snorlax and another Lightning Energy. And Avery is good to have on hand because Suicune V relies on how many Pokemon are on both players' bench. So when we use Avery, that's going to force my opponent to discard their Pokemon on their bench until they only have 3 left, thus decreasing the damage of their Suicune V. So at least we can control how many Pokemon we have in our bench, and also we can force our opponent to limit their bench size as well. So that's the strategy we're going for, but again, the typing advantage really helps in this matchup as well. So for sure, their Suicune V will knock out our Arceus V-Star, because as it is, my opponent's already behind in the price exchange. Arceus V-Star being able to get the first 2 prizes actually makes a big difference. And with just 210 HP to the Suicune V, it makes it a lot easier for us to knock it out. We got a Speed Lightning Energy from our top deck, which actually helps to draw 2 extra cards. But for now, I'm just going to use Avery. And that actually drew us into a Raichu, which is really awesome. And let's see. We still won't be able to attack though, that's the thing. We just attach an energy to my Pikachu. I'm going to discard Avery and my Snorlax so I can get another attacker. And yeah, I'm just going to stall for now. I'm going to use Gormandize. Because if I evolve into a Raichu, that's going to alarm my opponent, and they're just going to, if they have access to boss, they're just going to boss it. So I want to preserve it as much as I can, and so it will make my opponent think whether or not it's a good idea to attack that particular Pikachu, since I also have another Pikachu set up on my bench. So with 2 Raichus available in our hand, we can evolve 2 Raichus, and so we have a lineup of attacker, at least 2 of them, and there's the boss and also a another supporter from our opponent's side, so that makes it really scary. Now they can target any of our Pokemon, whichever one they want, and that Radiant Greninja is pretty scary too, since they can snipe 2 of our Pokemon, especially our Pikachu actually has low HP. So they can get 2 easy prizes if they knock out our Pikachus. But they will just knock out our Snorlax, which is really good for us. And that actually paves the way for us to get a knockout off of this Suicune V. So let me Dynamotor 1 energy to Raichu to make sure that we have enough energy to go around. Scoop up our Radiant Venusaur, and then I have a Quick Ball. I think I'll just get rid of that Get Pikachu, and then I'm just gonna use Ordinary Rod first, and yeah, let me just get Arceus and Raichu. I'm just gonna Marnie. That's gonna disrupt our opponent's hand because they have so many cards in their hand. So many cards available means dangerous. So that's good. And we're just gonna get a knockout. Again, hitting for weakness, we're dealing 440 total damage to their Suicune V, getting us 2 more prizes. And I think we got this game. We need to knock out 1 more Suicune V, and we're home free. And we haven't even used any of our boss's orders yet, so we still have them available in our deck. And they also have Palkia. Alright, so they also have Palkia VSTAR, which also doesn't really matter to us because it is also weak against lightning. But it's going to be a little too late for them to set it up because now they'll need another turn to evolve it. But then again, because it is weak to lightning, it's really not gonna make a big difference. So as long as we can secure a knockout against one of their V Pokemon, we will win this game. And their main attackers are V Pokemon anyways, so we are good. Alright, so they actually have Ludicolo as well, which increases their damage output by 100. And my opponent's just gonna knock out our Raichu, and that's pretty much a win for us, guys. That's it. Because their Suicune V is weak against lightning, we can properly set up here using our right hand. I'm just gonna put an energy to my Pikachu. We're just gonna retreat it, and we're gonna attack with our Raichu on our bench. So, I'm just gonna get Choice Belt to increase our attack damage output. Dynamotor 1 energy. Put this double turbo energy and the Choice Belt. Retreat for free. And a Spark for the win. 460 damage. Good game. Before ending this video, I want to thank you all so much for showing so much love for this channel. As always, before you go, make sure you are subscribed if you are not already. Make sure and leave a like. It's a simple way to help increase the algorithm to get this video to more viewers like you. And if you'd like to help support my channel even more, please check out the description of this video. You can donate to me directly through PayPal, and you can also become a member of this channel. For as low as 99 cents a month, you may be able to buy me a coffee if you'd like. And you'll also be able to get an early access to videos I've already uploaded before they are scheduled for release. Or you can also use the new Super Thanks from YouTube if you'd like to donate even further. You can also check out Redbubble, where you can buy apparel and accessories with awesome designs from me. And of course, for supporting my sponsors and partners, PTCGO and yourplaymat.com. Links are in the description below. But you don't have to do any of those if you don't want to. I'm just really happy that you continue to take the time out of your day to watch my videos. Thank you everyone for watching, happy Pokemon gaming, and stay tuned for more videos. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicle Night channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.